Hi everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm back with another Pixel to Page, a hybrid scrapbook page project that began its life as a layered digital template. That template was this template number 179. And I use this as the base for the page today. So let's jump into the physical products that I used to create it. Starting out today with a handful of things. I've got some photos that I've already printed out on my little Epson Picture Mate, and I've got some cardstock scraps. These are both from Gina K. Lovely Lavender and Passionate Pink. I've already printed my journaling from that template onto some Neenah Solar White. Now I'm going to be using this die set, Ornate Love, both the title and the hearts. And I'm also going to be using this background stamp. This is called Quilted Hearts. And it's got these cute, tiny little hearts, and I thought it would make fun embellishments. And I'm also going to be using these brand new Distress Oxide sprays. I've got Wilted Violet and Picked Raspberry, and these, well, I'm going to say it, they're pretty fun. Got a simple brush and an acrylic block that's going to help me add ink. Now, I'm going to be using not these sentiments, but the coordinating tabs that go with them. I changed my mind halfway through the project, so I will be using those dies. All right, first things first. I need to trim out the inner background, if you will. I left the little outlines that are part of the digital template so that I'd have a very quick trim guide. And I get nice straight cuts from this trimmer. Makes me very happy. Now, what you'll see here is an actual printout of the layered template. I place everything in and then I piece it all out so that I can end up with just this journaling and the subtitle. And that's where I got the idea to play with these distress sprays, these new sprays from Ranger and Tim Holtz. Now here's what I did. I decided to just spray some onto some cardstock, and I thought it looked great, but I realized I have no control over where it's going, and for me to do anything messy, you have to know, it's a little hard for me to do that on a scrapbook page. So I decided to take the old brush, dip it right into the oxide. I shaked it up really well, put a little bit on an acrylic block, just like card makers do, and I am a card maker too, and then just flicked. Because if you flick with control, well, if you're a control freak, you're going to be happier. And I really did want to have flicks at the bottom and flicks at the top. And so using this approach for both the Picked Raspberry and the Wilted Violet, it worked great because I could put it where I wanted to. And once I got all those flicks on, I just am going to set this whole thing aside to dry. But this is a really fun way to use these sprays in a much more minimal and controlled way. Next, I've pulled out my original size MISTI. I've taken the insert pad out in order to use the background stamp, these cling stamps. And I'm going to take a piece of this purple tape. It is a low tack tape that will not tear your paper. I'm putting it on the back of my Passionate Pink cardstock, and that is from Gina K Designs. I'm going to press it down so that it sticks to the MISTI door. This is how I like to use background stamps. I learned this actually from watching Gina K Designs videos. Now I'm going to take all the static off my cardstock with the embossing magic pad because I really only want my powder to stick where the Versamark goes. And sometimes there's static and oils that can get on your paper. But I'm going to ink this up really well. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp this down. Now here's the beauty. When you have it taped to your door, you're pressing your paper into the stamp. And because it's taped and it's not moving and the stamp's not moving, I decided to hit it one more time. That's part of the beauty of the MISTI. You can get it, you can stamp it as many times in the exact same place as you like, and it is going to look perfect every time. Look at those little tiny hearts. Okay, now I'm going to clean up really quick here with my stamp chamois and wipe that all down. All right. Now I'm using this ultrafine embossing powder from Brutus Monroe. This is the color Alabaster. It's just a really nice bright white. I'm going to sprinkle it all over this background. And I've got that little clothespin just because it's going to make it easier when it comes time to emboss. I don't need this to go edge to edge, but I figured I'm going to cover as much as possible. And that looks good. And now I'm just going to quickly put my powder back in the container. Just fold that little piece of copy paper, tap it in. And a little comes out, that's fine. I just wipe it away with a Swiffer cloth. I like my surface to be clean. Now the heat tool is nice and hot before I bring it to the cardstock, and then I will work my way around the pink paper until every single one of those little areas the powder has melted and turned shiny and white. And now I have created my own little piece of pattern paper that I am going to use to cut some things out of using the heart dies. I've taped them into place, and I've kind of framed the pattern so that the hearts hit in an optimal place, if you will. I don't know. It took me a while to figure it out. But then I'm just running it through my die cut machine, and this is the Spellbinders Platinum 6. And now I have 2 adorable patterned hearts. I repeated the same background stamp process on this lovely lavender, and then I'm taking this medium-sized heart and running that through. And you can keep the scraps too. You know, stick those embossed scraps in your bin because you can use these again. While the embossing machine is still out, I'm going to cut out my title letters. And these are also from the Ornate Love set. They just cut out the word love. Looks so great. I love how chunky and blocky and sans serif they are. Sans serif meaning without serifs. Thank you. My French is fantastic. But what I'm going to be doing is just gluing them together, each letter, for a bit more dimension for my title. Very, very simple. And I just love the passionate pink. No pun intended. I reach for the Zig two-way glue frequently when I'm gluing letters together, and all I do is just lay down a coat, just like that, on one letter, and then pick up the other letter with my pick-me-up sticky tool and press it together until it's adhered, just like that. Very subtle, but nice dimension. Not too much, just right. All right, and that looks fantastic. Now I want to show you something. Sometimes when you run something through the die, it'll like pick up an impression on your actual cardstock. And if that ever bums you out or you want to get rid of the little poke holes, take a Teflon bone folder like this, and this is the Cadillac of bone folders. I'm just going to say it, it's worth its weight in bone folders. You can just rub on your cardstock whatever you've cut out, and it will sort of make those lines go away. I like to do that. Just wanted to share that tip because I do it all the time. Now I'm just going to trim the photos down. And I will tell you this, the Tim Holtz Tonic Guillotine Trimmer has changed my life. I cannot believe how straight it cuts. I never used a trimmer like this before in all my years of scrapbooking. I used to just use a metal ruler and an X-Acto knife. Nope. This tonic trimmer is fabulous. You do have to hold down both of those finger guards, but the cuts are fantastic. Much like the photo of me on this layout. Just wanted to point that out. Now I'm going to be using some Gina K Designs and Thermoweb, her new dot runner. This is the dot runner of my dreams. I absolutely love it. And I will mount this down onto some of the lovely lavender cardstock. And it's time to bring out my clear T-square because I think that I can see things visually. And most of the time, I really can't. And when I look at it after it's all glued down, I realize how crooked everything is. So this clear ruler is a really great tool for scrapbookers who want things lined up. And what I like to do is I tape it into place because I know that if I get the top line of these photos lined up, everything else underneath it will fall in line. That didn't make any sense, but I think you know what I'm saying. Tape it down, get that straight line, and begin to adhere things to the page. It's so much easier when you have a guide like this. And I also decided to bring in that little scrap because I realized, I'm not sure how far over to the left, because that placement, I want the left edge of my photo to be flush with the journal and the little This Story subhead. So it's all about placing it in the right order, people. That's my secret. But also in placing this photo down, I just wanted to look to the right and make sure that margin was the same as it was on the left. But you can kind of see the little splatter at the top and bottom. It's dried back and it's like not too much, but it almost appears to be like a little custom pattern paper that I invented. Thank you. All right, quickly, I can add this love title because I bring that ruler in. Again, it is just a great tool. Tape it into place, add whatever your adhesive of choice is. Again, mine is this Zig glue, and press that title down. Oh, just like that, it's totally lined up. Love it. I'll put a block on it until it adheres all the way. And now I decided to just cut a tab with no text or title or anything, just out of that little pattern that I had made on the lavender paper. I think that's cute. It's very simple. I added thin foam squares to the back of my first heart, and I want them to overlap and sort of pop up. So I'm going to place down the first heart right there in the corner, and I like that it's dipping into that lavender margin space. It adds a little bit of energy when you break out of your contained space. But I needed to add an extra thin foam square to the, is that the left side of the heart? Because I wanted it to be completely flush. I didn't want there to be a dip down, if that makes sense. I wanted to create a loft that would work here, so I needed to double up on the thin foam tape. And then I added that little heart up to the top, and that is the finished page. And I'm really excited not only about the design, I think this is really fun, and the colors are not what I would usually go with, but it tells a story of the same moment. Dan on his knees looking for books for his elementary class, and me taking selfies of myself while waiting for my husband in the library. It's simple, it's fun. I got to play with Distress Oxide sprays, which I would highly recommend you check out, and it tells a story that I love. Thank you so much for watching, and I would love to have you become a subscriber, and I'll see you back here again with another scrapbook or card project soon.